Welcome to this week in Astro. It's the week ending the 16th of April here over the Astro Community. As always, we're focusing on at start at the Astro GitHub repo, and for anybody who wants to follow along, it is github.com/withastro, and here you'll be able to keep up to date with all the Astro projects, their individual repos, and just keep up to tabs with what's happening, any pull requests or any PRs, issues. This is where you're going to be throwing them. Next up, release logs and what has came out the last couple of days here in the Astro community. On Monday we had the release of Astro Beta 6. So what we've seen was massive releases focusing individually on the adapters, the integrations. So as you can see, that was midweek, and now we're just basically flying down the week now, and as you can see, we're finishing the week up on version 12 of the beta. There's been changes to the adapters, and just wanted to basically touch over the adapters. You could use these adapters by going to Astro add Astro node, and if you need to find out any information with these about the adapters pages, you could check them all out at the on their own readmes. Please by all means do check out the readmes and the repos for each of the adapters. Next, I want to discuss what happened with this week's RFC process. For those who don't know, Astro has a very transparent and open governance model when it comes to proposing new features, and there is a discussions page that you can go to here where you can just view all the discussions that are happening currently in GitHub. The RFCs are basically where we discuss, and this gets put out from the core team where they openly discuss it on the Discord community on a Tuesday night, 7 PM GMT, and it's free for anyone to come and join and listen in. What I would like to discuss is that we had a new contributor that came into the community. Hippo, we know him in the Discord channels as, but on Gitpod he's known as Hippotastic, which is fantastic because his contribution is very recent, but has been quite significant. And this is the thing, it's like Astro is fully welcome to developers, especially when we have developers coming on board wanting to take things and help push the project further, partly to address their own edge cases and use cases, but nonetheless, if they have that particular use case, then other developers will no doubt have that particular use case. And in the nature of the open source and the open society, you help yourself, you'll no doubt help other people as well. So off the back of that and this good spirit of that, Hippo put together what began life as a PR, then got moved into an actual request for comments discussion, and this is what this basically looks like, where he states his goals, what he's done, his journey, and then his proposals. From discussing that, it then gets put out for general discussion within the thread. Now this gets opened up, the developers, the core team gets put into touch with this, and then they have the feedback process, which brings us on to the roadmap towards moving Astro from beta to stable. They've addressed a number of the internal APIs, SSR improvements. Now there has been significant improvements being made to the SSR, but again there is more coming, and this is what this roadmap basically highlights, is that there is work being done and there is more coming. There is additions to the scope for this roadmap to basically be explored to see whether or not they fit into the V1 pre-V1 launch or post-V1 launch. Better fetch internalization methods. The markdown component has been getting a lot of work done recently. Direct embedded features into that. There's a lot of things being added to the roadmap as well, so by all means keep your ear to the ground, keep your eye on this as well. I would also want to finish just on this roadmap that this was taken over by a community member called Zaid. The documentation for the directives being added to Astro, so this is now live. So thank you very much Zaid, Sarah, Chris, Fred, those who took the time to get involved in this particular PR. All the information, especially the reference material pertaining to all the client directives, do take a good look over this page if you're ever stuck looking to find out more information about any of the Astro directives. You'll find them here. within the template directives page. Finishing off with the Astro news, I always like to point people towards astro.new. Astro.new is Astro's playground, where you basically get to spin up using one-click deploys into your favourite online IDEs. Now you can play with Astro in your online browser, develop and code with Astro in your online environment, and this is fantastic. Great support from the StackBlitz crew, the Code Sandbox guys, and especially those over at Gitpod as well. And you can basically check out everything new current using the latest beta 12 release, and yeah, everything you want to play with the latest branch is up to here. And if for all those canary lovers, there is also astro.new/next, and that puts you on the next branch as well. Lastly, and just to cap off this week in Astro's news, so we had components coming where you go from static to dynamic. You've got themes where you could have particular themes set for portfolios, docs, marketing pages, you know, e-commerce is coming as well. Astro integrations, you could always bring that in using Astro add Astro add and whatever integration you wish to bring in. And then remember, SSR is here. Next up in this week's section of This Week in Astro, I'll be looking over the Astro Showcase. From last week where there was just about, I think there was about 39, I think there's now about 60. And what I'm going to do is take a couple of minutes just to take a look over some of the new sites that have been added to the Astro Showcase this week in particular. First up, this one here was built by Async Banana. We know him in the community as Async Banana, and it is a very crisp, very clear collection of articles, posts, information for web developers, and it's very interesting, very informative, very engaging as well. So by all means do check out biteofdev.com. And next up we have a good friend of this channel who basically has an excellent writing ethic. Chris puts out an article a day, and he has done so for the last 2 years. He's got over 700 articles about web development. He's got a fantastic newsletter that he puts out every week. He's rebuilt his entire daily dev tip site with Astro. Next up we have Leo's Fells portfolio page. This is a really good quality portfolio site for a top quality developer. He has written his own experience about this on his actual site, so by all means do take a look at his website. Built with Astro, Tailwind for the styling, and also NX, which is extensible build system. Also got to say, NX do have Astro integrations and plugins as well, so by all means check them out. Next up we have very new, very active member in the community, Yaren, also known as Pukima. Straight up, he went in and built a site with Astro, and I have to say I do love it. This guy's got an eye for styling. He's kind and creative. Next up, very lovely site built on Astro. This is me just going to be panning through their entire site. Don't ask me what they do, I just look at the pretty pictures, and this is a very lovely site. Yeah, so this is the closest we got to giving recognition to them. So ACOS, Svolt, and blah. Right, thanks guys for making a fantastic site. And so next up we have Web Dev Simplified, another blog site. There is a migration happening, and Astro is definitely going to be, in my opinion, the future home for all these blog sites that are coming online. And lastly, with the showcase, I want to focus on Lloyd's blog as well, because Lloyd's blog site is another fantastic one to take a look at in terms of content using Astro and just generally his experience in his life as a software engineer and developer. Lloyd Atkinson, also known as Lloyd in the community, is another fantastic contributor and community member. So yeah, thank you for making a fantastic site, Lloyd. Next up, astro.build/integrations page. Again, we took a look over this last week when it was showcased and launched by Tony. As a result, we actually have a go-to place where we can take a look and scour in our free time over new components, new additions to the Astro ecosystem, and see how else we can extend and build on top of our projects. And if you wish to find out, by all means, this is a site that you'll be going to, right? The first one I would like to talk about is from Mahoyan Rafid, who is a fantastic developer, highly skilled, got a brilliant heart, and a very bright future ahead of him. He has spent the last approximately 5 months, thereabouts, give and take, if not a wee bit more, working on a set of image tools for Astro that is as native as you can be with Astro, that is fully works with the framework. The Astro image tools is now being published. This is good to go with the latest round of Astro version 1. Beta. So I just want to take a wee second to take a look over this. This is the Astro image tools demo, and you'll find this linked via the Astro integrations page as well. Now you're probably thinking, why don't I just use an actual image tag or etc. The image component provides you with inbuilt optimization features that you could just use by using props. So you put in your image source, you apply the optimize whatever props that you wish to, and we're just going to take a quick look over this because Rafida's even went the extra mile and delivered us a fantastic documentation site. By all means do check out the docs, by all means do check out this particular packaging. Next up, we've got one of my favourite content creators out there on the internet, Kevin Powell, KP, the CSS guy. This is him done a video. He's done a couple of videos about Astro. This is probably his more recent one, where he discusses, creating layouts, how you build layouts with Astro, with a design focus. I highly recommend taking a look over this because there's a couple of tricks and tips, especially utilizing KP's knowledge and background that he implements in his when he's building these layouts, and they're really interesting to take up and to learn some new design patterns. By all means check out this video, links will be in the description as well below. Next up we have Ishmael, and he set up a set of UI pagination buttons. Because Astro has pagination built into the get static pass attribute, where it generates the next, the set of 10 pages and its URLs, links to them, etc. You have that information and that ability for you to then do the style into. What this does is basically helps abstract that level away and gives you a set of components for you to just plug in with your pagination function, and you get static pass and you're good to go, guys. Again, a blog post that was put out by Taylor Bebsta, right? This is probably one of my more insightful reads that I've had about Astro and its SSR feature, especially when it comes to utilising it with Cloudflare and AWS Lambdas, and in particular this logo in the middle is Architect Begin. By all means do check out this particular blog post. What I'm seeing as a theme with these blogs is that when it comes to discussing Astro, they're not shy on teaching you or sharing with you their code and their journey and how they got there. Every code snippet, every code example is just helping teach another astronaut another method in using Astro, and that is particularly important, especially because we are yet in the run up to V1, and as best practices are those that are best shared, and this is how this is done. So I would always promote great articles, especially well written ones, and Taylor has smashed this one out of the park as well, right? So thank you very much, Taylor, for putting this together for us. So best luck with these guys, and yeah, we'll support you where we can. Next up, we have what seems to be a weekly feature is from Rodney. Honestly, I don't know where this boy finds that actual time, but nonetheless, he's just dropped a new Astro tutorial, right? Basically going from zero to minimal viable product and deploying it right the way through, right? Utilizing Svelte, React, Markdown on the way. He's also got Tailwind in there, I believe, and yeah, so from head to toe, this particular article, it is very is Rodney's work, so from head to begin with it's going to be good. Even got a wee video there for you to get involved in as well. I'm liking how Rodney is going about sharing his content and his knowledge, especially when it comes to around Astro. It is helping a lot of people in the community, so thank you very much for that, Rodney. Then we've got our second weekly guest slot, which is from Ernesto, readonlychild, and this is a little project that he's put together using the SSR. And here we have a one-page store. Now this is fantastic. This is a great job, Ernesto, that you've done here. What we're basically seeing is like a Pokemon store. Now, just clicking, adding to the cart, happy days, let's get a Zorax, another wee mini Charizard, $278 for a Mew card. I think I got one of them sitting in a box somewhere. Will cost you in the best region of $532. We've got a checkout, we've got a cart, and if we were to go one step further, now this is a sandbox, and you know, Ernesto's given us the details to go that one step further to play with it. You know, it's like in a checkout experience. We've got all of that going on. It is a fantastic job. We've got a transaction slip at the bottom, you know, the wee receipt. Well done. This is brilliant. Again, like Rodney, I don't know where Ernesto finds the time, because he's also managed to come out with a blog post talking about how to make a tag cloud of tags from the articles that you could collect from the front matter. This is the front matter of an Astro site, where we're basically using it like a YAML structure, and then from there we've got the code snippet that tells you how to generate this little word cloud here. Again, fantastic job, Ernesto, much appreciated. Next up we have by Timur. I like where this is going. This is a very minimalistic blog theme. The typography, the styling, it's a nice approach to theming. Good work with this. Keep going with it, Mud. Next up is our very own producer, editor-in-chief, Sarah. Again, I've demonstrated this table a couple of episodes ago, but this is basically just it in action now, and it is an XElement table utilizing HTML table elements, and then just interactivity on them, scrollable, you name it, has got it. So I'll here again just looking at the interactivity, because it was made in XElement, and that's what XElement basically allows you to do. Next up, this is something recent that has came up. There is a very exciting project underway at the present moment. It's called Astro-embed, and Astro-embed basically is to tackle the embedding third-party content and resources into your Astro project. So the idea really stems from Hugo's embedded features. So Hugo the static site generator, they've got a huge swath of embedded features, plugins, APIs to Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, they got it. And so currently what we've got is Twitter and YouTube. Now, like I said, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of APIs and embedded APIs that we could bring into the Astro ecosystem, and this is what I like to basically do, is make a call to action for all those developers out there who want to feel like, you know, taking on a wee small challenge. Go to Astro Community, which is a GitHub repo we will demo in a second, but /Astro-embed, and you can help Chris, Brycey, and whoever's in this project to basically create and put together a large user set of embedded Astro features that could be used both within your markdown pages, within your Astro pages. Yeah, this is by all means a call to action for you guys. I'd like to introduce you to the Astro Community repo. Sharing your projects on this, these are your projects, like those who create them are the sole owners of them. By having them added to the Astro Community, it allows other developers to come in, not only access but to add to collaborate with. It also shows that, you know, you should you wish for projects that are no longer being maintained by yourself, can be picked up and maintained by other members within the Astro Community itself, because, you know, if we have access, we could get in there, we can do the maintenance as Astro changes, you know, keep up to date, so that way components don't really break and the user experience doesn't really falter. So if you make a fantastic component, or even any type of component or theme or integration, and you wish to have that, you know, within a broader ecosystem that will be maintained into the future, this is where the Astro Community comes in. So by all means do check it out, github.com/Astro Community. And within that, I would like to also bring special attention to the component template created by Erika, who works as part of Astro Tech to help create single components. So if you've got a single set of components, you know, like a header component or a text component, like we've just went through an image component, etc. This is, you know, a good place for you to just clone your project, get started. You've got your own testing kit that is being provided again by Erika's own Astro component tester, which is a small addition to the Mocha and Chai testing libraries that allows you to render your Astro components as HTML and have the output tested. It's a fantastic little repository, and I do use it myself. And that is again is a beautiful segue into the last part of This Week in Astro, where we're discussing the hackathon. Now the hackathon has launched. We're 1 week into a 4-week hackathon, guys, so we've got 3 weeks left in this thing, right? And already off the bat we had Pascal, who is known as Claxton in the community. He has written a blog, right, about his journey about developing this particular package, so by all means do check it out. It's on dev.to, and yeah, give it a wee like, give it a bit of love, and go through it, guys. Seriously, highly recommend it. And this brings us lastly on to how to go about submitting for your weekly for your own hackathon projects. So now there's a hackathon channel for any general discussions related to the hackathon experience and the process, and then there's the channel dedicated to the submissions as well within the Discord community. And that is it for This Week in Astro, guys. Thank you for taking the time listening to me, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you all the very best luck with the coming week. Peace and love. Peace and love.